I can't tell you how many, especially black men, that have sat around there and said, just because you got a degree don't mean you smart.
Oh, she says black men have told her just because you got a degree doesn't mean you smart.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
You're smarter than me because you got degrees. Yes. Yes. I spent years doing statistics and research and dissecting scholarly sources in a specific subject matter that you did not. So that literally makes me smarter than you in that subject. And that's a problem with the anti-intellectualism movement. Y'all got ChatGPT and got a few buzzwords on TikTok, and now y'all think that y'all could discredit people with actual education and training for specific fields. And then don't let me get started on the people who think that their individual experience as a singular person changes the facts of the masses.
So we've got a chick here who's upset that people won't respect the fact that she may be more educated than the people she's talking to in a particular subject. Fair, right? I understand. But here's my problem with this whole thing, man. Too many, and especially right now, especially what I've seen coming out of these universities, I have come to the conclusion that a lot of women in the West, here in the US, are maybe book smart, but are life illiterate. Making the same bad mistakes over and over again. Living a life that no one else can't tell them nothing. Unfortunately, what I've observed is you can't even talk to them. Maybe it's not just that people won't respect your profession that you champion everywhere you go, but it also may be the attitude that comes with it, right? You thinking that you know better than everyone else. Maybe you don't know how to talk to people. Like people make their degrees and such their personality when they don't know how to get along with people in real lives. These people are unhinged. It's getting difficult for people to pretend. At some point, the people you're listening to, their life has to reflect a morsel of healthy balance in some shape or form, right? I'm not just talking about your actual physical health. That's very important as well. For example, no one wants to walk and listen to a doctor talk about how you need to eat better when he's fat. But you probably would listen to people more if their own lives weren't in chaos. Too many of the people who think that they know so much about a particular subject are chaos themselves. This whole anti-intellectualism movement thing, to me, just seems like a bunch of people who are upset that they have student loans.
Let me tell y'all something. I do not do the agree to disagree. Okay?
What?
I don't agree to disagree about nothing.
She's like, no, it's too soon. It's too soon. I can't make that joke. I'm not even going to do that. You don't do the agree to disagree. So when somebody disagrees with you, what do you do? I'm not even going to go there, guys. You already know what I was thinking, but I'm not even
I want to go article for article. I want to go credible source for credible source. But what y'all are not going to do is try to debate your opinion with my facts. Straight like that. Literally makes me smarter than you in that subject.
And the wildest thing, it usually comes from the people that don't have no education. I can't tell you how many, especially black men, that have sat around there and said, just because you got a degree don't mean you smart.
Oh, she says black men have told her just because you got a degree doesn't mean you smart. I mean, let's be honest, they're kind of right. It's what I've been talking about. And maybe a better way to say it is just because you have a degree doesn't mean you know how to make good life choices. A lot of you have degrees, but no man, right? No husband. Brag about how much money you may be making, but never mention the debt that you're in.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
But black men, engaged or soon-to-be married men, getting a prenup doesn't have to be confusing. At fathershaverights.com, we break everything down in plain, simple English so you feel in control from day one. Here's one of our 5-star reviews from Logan. I didn't know much about prenups before, but the way everything was explained made it easy to understand. It didn't feel overwhelming or super legal heavy. It was just real advice that actually made sense. I feel way more secure going into marriage now. Grab the guide for the price of a couple of dinner dates by clicking the pinned link in the comments and join the hundreds of future husbands securing their marriages the right way.
And it be coming from somebody that didn't even finish high school and got a GED. Sir, what the do you mean? Matter of fact, I had a man once tell me that, and on a date it was. So I just politely wrote down a general algebra question and told him to solve for it. Solve for why, sir?
You know how disrespectful it is for a chick to bring out a math question because she thinks you're stupid? This is the type of stuff that I talk about, like the blatant disrespect of how men are treated on dates. Like think if a man did this. I've never done anything like this. And I wouldn't encourage you to do this, right? Guys, I am not encouraging any man to do this. But we have to reverse this. Maybe she will see how disrespectful that is, right? Because that's disrespectful. That's like you're arguing with her about her weight, and she's like, I'm not that big. I'm not that big. And you're like, you pull out a scale and say, stand on it, just to prove your point.
And he looked at me and he said, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I said, solve the math problem, sir. And he gonna look at me and say, algebra, math like that ain't never got no money in my pocket. Okay, still solve for it. Couldn't do it. Of course, I couldn't do it. And here's the thing: like, what people don't understand with concepts like mathematical concepts, algebra, calculus, finite math, things like that, it's not about the answer. At the end of the day, it's about working through a concept and working through a process in order to solve for the variable. So even though the answer may be different every single time, you're still going to go through the same process in order to get the correct outcome. Okay, it's something that I tell my son, when it comes to math. You have to practice math. You have to practice those concepts of math in order to get the right answer.
Something she tells her son. Do we have a single mother confirmed here? Shisha, why is that important? Well, it's important because she's talking about being on dates and pulling out math problems and trying to make a guy look stupid by saying, solve that problem. You're ruining relationships that could have been potentially good relationships with men who are willing to date you, but you think you're so smart and you're coming with a child, right? Men aren't begging to be stepdads. That's the reality. There's a certain attitude that modern women who lead with their degrees sometimes tend to have.
Okay, you're not going to be able to put your hand on the textbook, roll your eyes back like Storm, and think you're going to learn these math problems by osmosis. It's crazy to me that people have a hard time really understanding that college gives you truly valuable skills that you can take off into the real world. For example, when you're learning how to manage your schedule and manage your deadlines, that's something that you're going to have to take out into the real world when you have to work within a community. That's something that you're going to have to take out into the real world.
What community? The real world.
Utilizing and leveraging your networks. That's something that you take out into the real world. So when people say things like college did not prepare me for the real world, then what were you doing? The craziest thing is in the South, they don't value education as much as they do up north. And I remember having this discussion with a man who got so mad because, when you live in the South, you've been in it. And you don't see nothing else. You don't see anything differently. And the wildest thing is he got mad at me because he's like, you ain't go shit on my city. And he's sending me all this chat GPT, AI statistics that weren't true. And I said, sir, did you research valid? Like, where are you getting your sources from? I actually pulled my statistics from the Census Bureau, pulled by the state. Where did you pull your information from? And then he got mad and said, you ain't gonna shit on my city. And I said, listen, you need to learn how to properly pull valid sources. Okay, because here's the information that I have. And based on the fact that, yes, Georgia is a bigger state. Okay, if you look at, pound for pound, Indiana is killing Georgia when it comes to education, when it comes to quality of life, when it comes to things like that. And yes, even though Indiana is a red state, Indiana has had a very large amount of Democratic governors, which has allowed us to benefit from a lot of Democratic policies. Georgia, I can't think of when the last time y'all had a Democratic governor. And that's why your policies look the way that they do. And this is why I talk about how education is important, reading is important, logging off the internet every once in a while and really finding your sources other places is really important.
Ma'am, where's your husband? Who knows? She might be married. Let me go check.
They're criminalizing the poor on a regular basis. How so?
Well, I've seen enough. The fact that she's posting Amanda Seales lets me know everything we all need to know. Gentlemen, just going back and forth and arguing, with the woman who obviously does not have the same values that you do, putting yourself in the position where you're being obviously disrespected. There are women that won't do this, right? And don't become them, because a lot of these people are bitter. They're looking for validation elsewhere. They hang it on their degrees. Don't become them. Find your peace in this life. And yes, education is important. But I would argue wisdom is a hell of a lot more important than knowing things. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.